we are now streaming. Tony, Dave, can you remind us all what we were doing last time?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening all. What
Go
were
on,
we doing?
Tone. You're better at this than I am.
We were, investigating the disappearance of the emissary. We had been to talk to Councillor Cassar. Was that last week we did that?
It was, yeah.
Basically admitted that he had used a data meme to deactivate the emissary's security features on his house, including the video feeds, and claimed that he was being
Blackmailed to do
blackmailed. A member of his family was being threatened to force him to do it.
You wouldn't give us any more information about it, though, because it was
No,
obviously
about who was doing the blackmailing, apart from
family confidential.
someone pretending to be a waiter in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Alkmaar's was their kind of contact with the blackmailers.
Yeah.
We got the blood tests back.
We did.
Which suggested that of the 6 blood samples that found in the emissary's apartment after his abduction, one of them was the emissary's.
Probably. Well, one of them was, mirroring blood that was highly regenerative.
Highly regenerative. The other 5 were Zalosian blood, 3 male, 2 female.
Scum.
Which kind of fits in with what everyone was suspecting about who might have done it. And then we kind of ran out of leads, or we had the bullet that was there, we had that analysed. It was a homemade, handmade, rather than factory-made bullet, probably imported to Coriolis. The side of the bullet showed some deformation, which was similar to the kind of cracking that we'd seen on the walls of the emissary's apartment, which suggested that it had been deflected in some way.
And we were assuming
some sort of power.
Yeah, we've made assumptions that it was the emissary doing that with some kind of mystic ability.
We have made that.
Sonic or sonar mystic ability.
We have indeed made that assumption.
Yeah.
And that was the last of our leads, really, apart from our suspicion that these guys are operating out of the Sanatorium. So our next plan is to go and try and have a look around that, try and recce it, see if we can see anything.
We had a look at the security tag that Cassar had been given, and other than it being the Zalosian origin, we couldn't really tell much else from it. And the reason, the problem, or the reason why Cassar went to talk to the emissary was to relay a request from his father, Captain Cassar, the leader of the hegemony. He didn't tell us what the request was. He didn't tell us what the emissary's answer to that request was, but I guess the implication was it wasn't a positive conversation. But that's pretty much all we know, I think.
Okay. Now I'm just going to turn my sound down on my iPad and listen to the stream, and we will kick off. So what are you doing next?
It's the Sanatorium, isn't it?
Yep.
So I think go on, Tony.
I think our plan, at least our initial plan, was just to kind of wander in there, if challenged, pretend to be the relatives of a resident.
Or I think we were going to say we're on a missing person mission, and we wanted to check to see whether that missing person was here. To give us I think that's what we said last time.
That sounds more like it, actually. Because I think we did talk about other options, but that was. But
as our cover story to allow us to snoop about is that we are licensed investigators who have been engaged in a missing person hunt, and we need to go and look at the people here because we suspect that if the missing person is here, they won't be registered under their real name.
Okay.
Yes.
And we rely on your manipulation skill, Yaquob, to get us through the door.
So you head towards the sanatorium, where, of course, you've been before, starting a fight outside when the emissary first, or rather when news was first released of the emissary not making a meeting that he was due to be at. It's quite an imposing. Starting a fight outside. I can hear my own voice coming back at me.
Sorry, don't worry. It's just me
Jolly
fiddling
good.
about with my iPad. Don't worry.
You don't want to do that? You want to turn the volume down for that one?
I thought I had.
So
no volume control can keep your voice down, Matt.
No, obviously not, as you've discovered in previous times. Sorry, you've thrown me off the sanitarium. So the sanitarium is near the academic district that you've already been to when you were looking for Noor's lodgings. It's quite an open space. So when there isn't a riot happening outside, there is no ring of Coriolis guard or anything stopping people getting in. There's some very pleasant gardens that you can wander freely into. The building itself is, again, got marble, white walls, high arched ceilings, giving the place an atmosphere of peace and purity. And the staff who sort of see you as you come in through the gardens, smile welcomingly. There's no challenges. Nobody says who you are. Where should you be?
Are these all Zalosian staff? Are these people from Zalos who staff this place? Or do they employ locals?
Speaking, well, I mean, they're the Samaritans, so I'm not sure they're necessarily all from Zalos, no.
But most of them are.
But definitely, the core are Zalosians. Yes.
I'm going to be like a pace behind Yaquob, desperately trying to control my rising anger at the double standards of all these people who are pretending to be Samaritans, fucking first come scum, using it as doing good stuff for all their evil purposes.
Okay, I want you to test that controlling your anger thing.
Oh no.
Well, it is my personal problem is you can't trust the first come. Not that I want to kill everyone I find.
Yeah, but just let's just see whether you're going to do something inappropriate since you brought it up.
Damn.
Now,
damn this role playing. I just shouldn't do that. It's much easier if I don't bother. What role do you want me to make then, Matt?
Well, I'm just trying to decide what role I'm going to make you make. Give me a moment.
I think it should be observation or ranged combat, frankly. They're my best skills.
Why can't I open this PDF of a character sheet? Bollocks. Give me a moment. I'll have to
no worries.
Big rule book. What am I going to make you skills wise?
There isn't really a self-control skill, is there?
No.
No. But I guess I'm going to get you to make your manipulation roll to put on a calm face, effectively.
Yeah. I wish you hadn't.
Anger show.
Can I help him because I'm encouraging him to control his feelings.
No, because he took a step or two behind you so that he can control this.
But I think all the way, I would
understand. Internal
approach. Yeah. I would understand how he was feeling, and I would be.
Yeah. He knows me well enough that when I take a step behind him like that, I'm trying to control myself.
Okay, right. So turn around and give him a dice. Just because I'm a generous.
There you go. Take that.
Not sure it'll make any difference, Tone, but thank you. Right, come on. Let's see how today's die rolling is going to go. I'm going to push that. And I fail.
Okay, right. So you have a permanent sneer on your face. You cannot put on a calm and neutral face on this one. You
Fair
have
enough.
resting racist face, I'm afraid.
Bigot, not racist. Bigot.
Bigot. Okay.
Okay. Fire.
So
But at least
yeah. So
that ought to earn me an XP at the end of the scenario, anyway.
well, it might do. It might do. Yeah. We'll see
Not
what
that-
trouble it gets you into. To see
Not
if
that I'm
it
focused on
turns you
XP
in
here now, of course.
XP. So you go, so it's basically the building itself is around quite a large courtyard. So you go in through the main entrance, but that's, there's kind of no reception there. And then you get into the courtyard, and this is quite large. So it's landscape. So there's kind of miniature hills and things within the space of the courtyard, and you've got to work your way around these paths to get from one side of the courtyard to the other. And there are kind of small buildings within the courtyard. It's a bit like the Apple campus, I guess, is what we might be saying, that sort of scale. So there are people around. You haven't yet kind of hit reception. Where do you want to go?
In terms of that scale, how many people, how many kind of inmates or patients will they have at any one time?
I think they could have hundreds. At any one
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay, it's quite a lot then.
It's it's a decent sized hospital in our modern terms.
Yeah. Okay.
So it might be thousands. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. So do we just want to wander around the wards then, Tone? Do we want to like play our cover story and actually announce ourselves, or just wait to be challenged?
Maybe, well, if we were really looking for someone that was just missing that we thought was here, we probably would let the hospital authorities know, wouldn't we?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to find your way around without somebody telling you where to go. That's the impression you get. What with all these winding paths in the courtyards,
Right.
there's not much in the way of signage. It's not like a hospital in that they've got, great big corridors saying follow the blue trail to blood tests or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Just first come disorganization. That's what it is. If this had been a good Zenithian place, you'd have had those lines on the floor saying toilets this way, and
Missing people this way.
Missing people this way, exactly. Plot direction this way.
Well, you do see as you head into a sort of foyer space, because there is a certain instinctive way that you're heading towards a sort of reception. There is a Zenithian sort of kind of relaxing, standing, but in a sort of relaxed pose, just inside the arched entrance to the foyer. And she's definitely Zenithian. She's got kind of hegemonic gold makeup on her forehead. She's got long hair that's tightly knotted into a kind of pile on top of her head. So she's looking very much your cultural equal.
And does she look like she's a member of staff?
No, not at all. She's got a tabula in her hand and is kind of fidgeting with it, and she sort of looks like she might be waiting to see somebody.
Is there anything about her that indicates her faction or her job, or?
Well, all of her fashion indicates her faction could well be, definitely a Zenithian one. Okay, make a culture roll, but add +1 since you've met a journalist.
Okay.
Can we both do that?
Yeah, I guess you both can.
I get 1 success for that one.
I get 2 successes.
Okay, and Tony, you're the one who, with your interactions, both of your interactions, but you're the one that spots it. She's got the same sort of tabula as that journalist you met earlier on, whose name I've just gone out of my head entirely, Jaina.
Yeah,
She
so
may be a journalist.
I'll mention this to Ocean.
So is that so? Jaina
She's not looking out for you. She's waiting.
Jaina was a freelance, wasn't she? Though.
Yeah.
She wasn't working for any particular outlet.
No, she was working for the Bulletin.
The Bulletin.
But I think, discovered that in a bit of investigation that Tony did, that she'd been quite a rising star, but then had found a story about somebody and kind of then got demoted.
And so the tabula that this woman is using, does that pinpoint her as Bulletin as well?
Not so much Bulletin. But it's the same tabula that everybody who goes to the Bulletin's Lyceum of Propaganda, which is a university school of journalism.
Okay.
Get.
And does she look like Jaina? Could she be related?
No.
No. Okay.
So is it worth having a chat with this journalist to see if see what they're doing here, and if there's anything, because I'm kind of feeling we could wander around here for hours, and if we wander around the normal wards, if they're kind of holding people here, they're not going to be in the normal wards, are they? So we need to be looking for something, some kind of hidden place that we can try and sneak into. I guess this journalist, depending what story they're chasing here, they might have some hint of something unusual going on. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm failing to see the reason why we'd want to introduce another journalist into our investigation or into our circle. Because the other one was a pain in the arse, frankly.
That is true.
I'm not sure that she...
Just because she pulled a gun on you.
She shot at me from point blank range, actually.
She didn't shoot at you. It was a warning shot.
It wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
She did a Greedo and missed from 2 feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, you can ignore her. She's not going to stop you getting in or anything.
What do you think, Tone? Well, you've got the manipulation. Do you want to go and strike up a conversation and see what? And I'll go and find a Zolossian to punch.
Yeah, I will go and have a chat with her, but don't wander off. Just stay there.
Okay, given that you're finding a Zolossian to punch,
no, I'm not finding a Zolossian to punch.
Okay, but I will just say to you before we move over to Tony Yaquob's conversation, as you get into this space and Tony peels off to talk to this woman, you realize this is the reception, and there is a kind of information desk with a kind of monkish looking young man behind it. So you can go if you want to, after we've done the Tony thing.
Young Zolossian.
And talk to the Zolossian.
Does it have like is there like an information board saying
no, it's more spoken word than that.
An inquiry desk. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an interface you can go and type in secret location of mystics being held.
Kidnap mystics.
Do we want to?
So anyway, Tony.
Just before we get there, as player, do we want to potentially in this location mention Noah's name? Or do we not? Do we think that shows our hand?
Well, I think if Nora is being held as one of these mystics, and that we are mentioning it kind of gets through to somebody who knows about it, that's probably the only thing likely to come out of that is they'll try and kill us or something, or put us off the trail. Although maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe that gives us a clue we're on the right track.
Yeah. Okay. I'm whilst Tony's having his conversation, I'm marching forcefully towards that inquiry desk.
Okay.
I'm going, Oshain, behave yourself. Behave yourself.
Tony. Yes, so there's this young woman there. As I say, she's not particularly taking notice of you. She's more interested in a tabula, so you'll have to introduce yourself if you're going to.
I am going to introduce myself. I'm going to say Yaquob and Oshain, private investigator. Kind of noticing that
She introduces herself as Sanatorium, a private investigator. You say
Sanatorium.
Sana, S-A-N-A, Torm, T-O-H-R-M.
Yeah, and you're a journalist, unless I'm very much mistaken.
She giggles and says, "No, I'm not a journalist. I'm a student, but I am studying journalism."
Oh, what are you doing in the sanatorium then? Is there a story here that you're
She blushes a
looking
bit
into?
and bites her lip.
Charmer tone, charmer. Sorry, Yaquob.
If there is something going on that might be of interest to us, maybe we can help each other out. Maybe if you tell us what's happening here, then if we come across any stories that we might think of interest and might help you in your studies, then we could.
Yeah, if you help us, we'll correct your grammar in your dissertation.
Yeah, we'll proofread.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you make a manipulation roll to get her to open up. I think at the moment she thinks you're a bit of a creepy old man.
Well, to be honest, you might have a valid point there.
You've got to get at least 2 successes.
Okay. I get 2 successes.
Okay.
2 successes, 3 ones.
It's
now.
Although
Tales of the Old West.
a mishap might happen. So she kind of is very shy about this, and she says, this thing that's going around, this and she's speaking very much sotto voce, this mystic's disease.
Mystic disease,
Yeah.
Are they treating it here, do you think?
Yes, yeah. And she shows you a leaflet, and you've seen it before. It's the same one that you found in Nor's.
Come to the sanatorium if you're a mystic thing.
Yeah.
Flyer.
So are they treating them openly in the wards, or is there?
I'm coming for a consultation.
A consultation?
Yeah, it's my first time.
With who?
Oh, I don't know who with.
Are you coming as a patient, or as a journalist as part of your studies?
No, as a patient.
Oh.
She's really embarrassed by
Burn the witch. Burn the witch.
Yeah, everyone, over here, witch. I've said I think it's anything to be
proud of,
to be ashamed of. In fact, I'm looking for a young woman who's gone missing, who I suspect may also have the same affliction, by the name of Nur. You haven't come across her at all, have you?
No.
What's Noah's surname?
I think don't ask difficult questions like that this far into the campaign. Don't be an idiot.
Jones, is it? Noah Jones.
That was up to Tony to decide what her surname was, right. And he didn't.
Nicely dodged, GM. Well done.
She's really quite embarrassed now and feels she's said too much already. But she says, "Yeah, I think so. I think Aram mentioned her."
Aram, yes.
Aram,
we met Aram ourselves.
Is he the guy who's dead?
Yes, he's the guy who's dead.
He was the guy who was shot in the head as we were leaving the Crossroads College. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, yeah, made a big impression on me. So
she's fiddling. She's more nervous and fiddling and feels really uncomfortable here, and says, "Look, I'm gonna take a walk in the garden."
That's fine. Once you have had your consultation, we're quite interested in because as I said, well, the current assignment I'm on is looking for this this individual Nur who may have come here. So if you once you've had your consultation, if you could get in touch, I'll give her one of her cards, would quite like
One
to
of
know.
your cards. I thought Dave was the one that had all the cards.
What of our cards? I think I probably have not as many. I don't give them out with quite the same abandon as Ocean does, but I still have a few to hand.
And when we're saying cards, obviously we're not talking about some bit of card. We're talking about some bit of Mediatronic paper, aren't we? That's got all your contact details on.
Yes.
She swipes it over her communicator and the number goes in. We're talking the future here, aren't we?
It is the future. Yeah. Not just some
Anyway, you give her that little token, that thing. It's a gift. It's a kind of exchange thing, which is why these cards have survived for millennia.
No, it's just a telephone box number written on the back of a fag packet.
But she takes it with you and kind of doesn't really know what to do with it and fiddles with it. And you can see her kind of stuffing it inside the pocket of her chemise as she heads off down one of the paths, hurrying a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so Dave, at the reception desk.
As soon as I've finished, I'm hurrying over to the reception desk to try and smooth over whatever fight.
And you see Dave having smashed the head of a receptionist in. No.
I can't trust you, can I?
This young man looks at you with a kind, open smile and says, "Can I help you, traveler?"
I need your help. I'm looking for a person who I believe may be here, but I suspect, for circumstances I don't need to explain to you, they may not be here under their real name. In which case, where would you have patients? Where would you treat patients who had sort of mental trauma or that kind of, mystic disease, that kind of thing? Where would you treat those patients?
I all over the hospital. He looks genuinely confused here because, particularly since the most work of the sanatorium is dealing with people that have got hyper sickness. That what you're describing is kind of
just about
most
everybody.
Of their patients. Yeah. She said, he kind of points over there, says, well, over there, actually, we've got people with diseased lungs, but pretty much everywhere else, we deal with that sort of patient. I'm afraid I'd really like to help you, but I'm going to need a bit more detail.
I'm assuming you won't object if I take a stroll along the wards and see if I can spot the person I'm looking for.
No, I wouldn't, but I kind of feel I don't want you questioning our patients. Their
no, I don't need to question.
Privacy should be protected.
Yeah, I'm more interested in their privacy than I'm sure anyone from Zalos might be, seeing you've come all this way to be do-gooders. I won't question anybody. I just need to see if I can spot the person I'm looking for.
Okay, I might just have to take a bit of a view on that. No, he's a minor character, so he doesn't have stats of his own. Can I get you to make a manipulation roll? This is before Tony arrives.
I wish you hadn't. So manipulation is not great. It's 3 dice. Is it worth pushing for 3 dice, Tim? No, I don't think it is. Not here.
Probably not.
No. I guess I'm just being a bit grumpy and impatient and intolerant with him.
Okay, so I think he is a junior member of staff, and I think sensing your grumpiness, I think as Tony arrives, he's saying, look, perhaps I can put you in touch with my supervisor, Sister Robwah. I could do that for you.
Mr. Robwah.
Yeah, Robwah. Robwah.
Well, I guess you can just answer the question of, can I walk around the hospital?
I
Yes or
really
no?
don't think that I can authorize that.
Does it need
says-
authorization? Is it visiting hours now?
But forgive me, but you seem, I don't want to say this, you seem
I think
little
you
bit
ought to.
aggressive.
I might have had a bad day. That's none of your business.
So then I think,
am I there by now?
yes, you are.
I'll
Thanks
say,
for that.
forgive my friend here. He has we have had a tough few days in our job. We had much sleep. We did not mean to, be aggressive in any way, but it would be a massive help to us if we could just have a look around. We're looking for a missing person. Our family are extremely concerned. She's missing now for a while.
Some people come here for sanctuary. The more you're telling me, the more I think I should call my supervisor.
Of course, we'd be happy to talk to your supervisor.
Is there can I see, are there people like visitors coming in and just walking past here and going down onto the wards?
There are people wandering about. That
don't look like staff.
That don't look like staff.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just going to turn and walk towards one of the corridors towards a bank of wards. Say, don't need to talk to you.
He
Walk
looks
off.
nervously. So Tony, he looks nervously after Dave Oshain, and he says, and he's got a sort of risk communicator that he starts sort of dialing something up on.
I'm going to say, look, hold on. Let me go and talk to my friend, and we'll sort this out. We don't need any special access. I think we just need to have a look around to see if we can find the person that we've been contracted to find. I'll be back in a moment, and I'm going to go after Oshain. Is the journalist Sanatorium, is she back yet?
No, she's gone out in the gardens.
So if you
kind of scared her off.
If you tell me about that,
I am going to tell you about that as soon as I catch up with you. Apart from saying, just calm down. Don't get into a fight with anyone.
No, it's probably not the best.
Journalist I was talking to, she's here as a mystic for treatment.
So I assume you tell me that she's having a meeting.
Yes.
With someone, a consultation.
A consultation.
Why don't I go and basically put her under surveillance in order to see who comes to talk to her?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Because I think my infiltration is better than yours, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Mine is shit.
I've got 5.
I have 4. Well, 4. Yeah, so yours is better than mine.
Slightly better than yours, yeah. And she might not have realised that I was with you, so she might not immediately recognise that, because we peeled apart and she wasn't really
like some other creepy old man is following her.
Okay, that's fine. That's probably wise. So Matt, I'm gonna head off into the gardens.
Well, before then, you turn around and meet this rather imposing woman. Can you see her on the screens?
Can, yes.
Yes.
And you're not entirely sure how long she's been there, and how much of that conversation that you just had with.
I would have been being careful and observant. I wouldn't have had that conversation if there was somebody standing right behind us.
Right. Okay. But,
I do have a good observation skill.
She says, "Can I help you?"
I'm saying I'm sorry. I apologize for being Grumpy, I just need to get a breath of fresh air. Excuse me, I'm going to go to the gardens. Talk to Yaquob, and I'll apologise and walk out, and head off in the direction of where the journalist went.
Okay.
I will also apologise on behalf of Oshain,
Thanks.
and just ask who am I speaking to?
I am Sister Robwah, the senior nurse.
Oh, sister. I thought you said Mister.
No.
Sister. I'm not there now anyway. So.
Sister Robwah, my name is Yaquob and Oshain. I'm a private investigator. We've contracted on a very upsetting
sort of bridles at that. You can see her visibly do that.
Missing persons case.
Glad I wasn't there then.
We have reason to believe that the person we're looking for may have been admitted to the Sanatorium, possibly under a name other than their own. We'd like permission to just have a look around the hospital, see if we can find the person that we're looking for. Family have been looking for her for some time, and very upset that she's missing.
Why can you tell me her name? You can tell already that she's disinclined to have private investigators wandering around, obviously going to be asking questions of people. Well,
I should make it clear that we don't need to question anyone. I just need to have a look around. Her name, the name of the person we're looking for is Noor.
Noor. Do you want to make a manipulation roll?
So watch for any reaction when you say a name as well.
Absolutely. I get 1 success at my manipulation roll.
She says, I think I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Can I make an observation roll to see if there was any reaction when I said the name?
I will not make you make a roll. Let me just make sure. Yeah, make a roll, actually.
No successes.
No, she doesn't react. The name passes by.
I'm going to push my case though. I'm going to say, look, I appreciate that you don't want private investigators wandering around disturbing your patients, but
just to keep track of time, Dave, can you make an observation roll for tracking down them?
Will do. 7 dice. I gain 4 successes.
Right. You can categorically say she's not in the gardens or the courtyard.
Okay. But she headed in that direction just a few moments ago.
But
right.
Given Tony's report, you think she's left the sanatorium entirely.
Right, okay.
Tony's scared her off.
I'm gonna go out of the sanatorium then and see if I can track her down.
Okay, yeah. For 4 successes, I'll say that you can find her hurrying away from the sanatorium out into the streets of the academic area.
Because I'm thinking, Tone, that if we can kind of...
You can't talk to Tony, please. Tony's having a conversation with somebody else.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. Okay. I'm going to follow her. I'm going to follow her.
Yeah.
Covertly,
okay, so
obviously.
Tony, what are you doing with Sister Robwah?
Now, I am basically trying to persuade her. Now, to do that, would I really need to have pushed my manipulation roll? In which case, will you let me go back and do that push now?
No, you didn't push it at the time.
No, fair enough.
Can you try again?
Try a different angle, I guess.
Well, yeah. So the different angles. I'm basically saying it's a really upsetting case. Her family are beside themselves with worry. They're a close family. Normally, they're in contact with her every day. She's been missing for a week now. The family are extremely.
Nora, can you tell me her surname?
Yes,
She brings
I
out a type of
definitely
reaction,
can. I definitely can.
Kassar.
Noor Kassar. Is that what your name? I'll let you say it.
Yeah, go on. I can't think of one. So Nur Kassar will do.
Noor Kassar.
Coincidentally.
It says.
Yeah, very coincidentally. It was a joke, by the way, when I said that. But okay.
So you're not giving her real name, you're lying, are you?
No, I'm saying the real name, absolutely.
Okay then. Let us find her real name since you can't think of one. Roll a D66 for me.
61.
Kara. Noor Kara. Karra.
Matt, did I take Jailer's number? The journalist.
I think
I definitely gave him my card. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what do you've given her Noor Kara's name, and she calls up her tabulo and does a bit of a search. And she says, well, we don't identify our patients here. I'm sure you understand that for various reasons. However, I could maybe introduce you to one of the people here who may know her. One of the members of staff.
Sounds like that would be a big help. Thank you. Appreciate your help in this matter. And as her family will also be extremely appreciative.
Very well, very well. Take a seat here and I shall call on Brother Ramas. Let's cut back to you then, Dave.
Yep. So, does she show any sign of? Does it look like she's kind of rushing home, or is she stopping in a?
I think she's rushing home. Or she's rushing back towards the Lyceum of Journalism, Lyceum of Propaganda.
Okay. See, my manipulation is so bad that I'm concerned about starting a conversation with her. No, okay, I'm going to keep following. I want to find out where her digs are.
Okay, yeah. You do. I don't know where they are, but somewhere around the Lyceum of Propaganda, similar sort of block to.
Is that quite close by to the Sanatorium?
Well, it's in the academic district.
Oh yeah, the same place where
the same quarter of the core.
Right, okay.
Slightly fancier accommodation than yours that you visited before.
Does she seem to kind of relax and calm down a bit by the time she gets back?
No, she's rushing. She fumbles with her door.
She's quite anxious.
If you're following her that far in,
I think so. Yeah, I want to make
she
sure.
Seems to be quite tense.
And did she say the name of the person who was supposed to be seeing her?
No, I don't think she did.
Okay. Okay, what I'm going to do, Matt, I'm going to leave it about 20 minutes or something.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably not a good idea, is it? And I'm going to then go and knock on her door.
Okay. 20 minutes later, when she opens the door a crack to see who it is, she looks more relaxed than you last saw her.
Okay. I say, excuse me, I'm looking for a Sanatorium. I am from the Sanatorium. In my
That's a lie, isn't it?
in my nicest voice.
In your nicest voice. You don't look like a Zalosian, so I'm going to ask
No.
you to make a manipulation roll on that one.
No. Okay. I get one success.
She slams the door shut.
Is that because she believed you, or because you didn't believe you?
Well, who knows? Through the door.
I'm all right, she shouts through the door. I decided against it. It's probably just nightmares.
Again, in my nicest, friendliest voice, I'm going to say,
I don't know whether you have a nice, friendly voice, Oshain. Dave, I know you do, but
I need more points in manipulation, that's for sure. I say, we were just concerned that you attended for your consultation and then left, and we're obviously want you to be entirely comfortable and happy, but clearly we would like to help you. There's no compulsion here whatsoever, but if you would allow me to come inside and speak with you, then I would hope that I can allay any concerns you may have.
if there's no compulsion, then I'll come back when I feel like it. She shouts through the door. Or says through the door, doesn't shout particularly. But...
Does she sound a bit stressed again now, seeing she slammed the door in my face and say, I completely understand your view. You sound distressed. We care about you. We want
Fine, can you go away, please?
That didn't work, did it? Okay. Absolutely. I will go away, and I'll go.
Okay. You're not leaving a card.
Well, I was tempted to. I might just. Okay, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Now, hang on. Before I go, I say, okay. I'll level with you. I'm not from the Sanatorium. You've obviously worked that out. I am here to help you. I'll flick my card.
You're not?
I'll flick my card under the door and say, we're here investigating what's going on. We're looking for a friend of ours who we think may have been in a similar situation to you. No pressure, it's up to you. My card is on the floor. If you wish to speak to me or my colleague Yaquob, then please give us a call. We think we may be able to help you, and you may be able to help us. I'm also a close personal friend of Jayla Kuhari, who I may be able to effect an introduction to her if that was any use to you in your journalistic studies. But I shall leave that entirely up to you. And then I'll walk away.
Okay.
Loudly enough so she can hear my steps receding.
Right. You're actually walking away, or you're just trying to?
No, I am walking away, but slowly.
Okay. She's not coming out.
Bitch. Okay. Fair enough. But I know where she lives as well, so we can always get to her later.
What I was going to do was have her phone Tony and say, "There's a mysterious man from the Sanatorium."
You should have just
when
done
you
it.
gave me your card.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Eventually, this older monk comes.
Do I get the sanatorium for this? Because I'm obviously
Sanatorium, yeah.
I'm going to call Tony and tell him what's happened. On my
while I'm waiting, I'm just keep my eyes peeled, just see if I can see any unusual activity going on.
Guns being cocked.
Yeah.
Assassins like sneaking behind you, that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
make an
Yeah,
observation roll, Tony.
That kind of thing. I get 2 successes.
You are in a calm hospital. Nobody is cocking guns. Nobody is hiding around pillars with assassin knives. You're absolutely convinced of that.
Unless they got 3 successes
Except
on
for the
their
assassin,
infiltration. Yeah,
4
exactly.
Yeah, except the really very competent assassin who's
Yeah. Who's about to kill
So
you?
this guy has a shaved head and he's got the symbol of the martyr, which I can't quite remember what that is.
Am I back at the sanatorium by now? Is this just Tony?
No. You followed her through town.
Right, okay.
Tony's on his own for this conversation, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Never split the party.
And yeah, so the symbol of the martyr is, or the pariah, is a circle like a sun on his head, sort of tattoo there. And he is dressed in a simple shirt and caftan. And he says, Sister Robwah said, you may know one of my patients.
it's possible. I'm looking for a missing person, a young woman who we believe may be a patient here in the sanatorium, probably not under their own name. We've been attracted by her family, who are very concerned about her whereabouts
Sister Robwah
and welfare.
And Nora doesn't have much of a family. Her father died some years ago. Are you sure this is the right name?
I am absolutely certain, yes. Her father was an old friend of mine.
She doesn't speak much of her family now.
She's here.
Let me be completely frank with you then. I am the closest thing she has to her family. We haven't been contracted by anyone. This is just something that I'm doing for my own benefit. Her father was an old friend of mine. He died. I was with him when he died. I promised that I would look after his daughter after his death. So, to be honest, I am the closest thing she has to
family.
to family.
Okay, make a manipulation roll.
Okay, I think I'm going to push that. I've got 1 success, but I'm going to push it.
Okay.
I now have 2 successes.
Let me just check on what his GM is. Okay, he says yes. She spoke of you, I think. Yes.
Is she here now?
No, I have not seen her for a number of days. She came to. We have a sort of group for people who think they may have the mystic's disease. We take care of several victims of this affliction. And we have a sort of anonymous circle where we discuss things. And she was here a number of days ago for one of those meetings, but was not here yesterday for.
So she wasn't a resident of the sanatorium. She came
Not a resident, no.
just for these
an
meetings.
Outpatient, if you will.
The last time she was here was just over a week ago, you said. There was a meeting yesterday that you would have expected her to attend, but she didn't. How did she seem at the last meeting that she did attend?
Hold on a second, just closing the door. You'll notice, by the way, that Sister Robwah is kind of, that's him, by the way, but she is also here.
Okay.
Just a few meters back, keeping an eye on the conversation. So what was that last question you asked?
I was asking, how did Nurse seem at the last meeting that she did attend?
Do you want to make an observation roll?
That's one success. He said, it worries me that she has, that you don't know of her whereabouts. I imagined she was, I imagined, she'd go to friends and family if you want me to, but, I am genuinely concerned and sad that neither you nor I know her whereabouts. Well, I also am extremely worried about that. I don't know her whereabouts. She did contact me and asked me to go and meet her.
Where
before,
was that?
That was 2 days ago.
Was it not longer ago than that?
I think it's 3 now. I ought to
3.
keep a calendar of time.
So she's been here since the day we were
About
supposed to meet.
over a week ago now, or
Right.
over whatever we call the weeks.
Yeah.
No, she did ask me to meet her, but she never made the rendezvous. So I too am extremely concerned about her whereabouts and her well-being. Can I ask, if you don't mind, when you treat the people with this mystics affliction, how do you treat them? Do you have inpatients here, residents who have this that you treat over the longer term? Or is there a treatment other than
inpatients for the most part are those with who have been touched by the darkness between the stars, hypersleep accidents and things like that. To be honest, the best treatment that we have had for these mystics is, what I call it, a talking cure. So very few, if any, I think, on our records are so unstable as to require confinement, he says.
And
obviously I can't tell you if any are there. That would be an invasion of their privacy.
Of course, I understand. So who runs these the talking group for these? Are you the in charge of that? Is anyone else involved?
There are a number of us who run similar groups, but we try and build up a relationship with our own patients. So I'm blessed by the martyr. I've not been struck down with any illness myself. Nobody's ever had to, as far as I'm aware. Only myself and Sister Robwah have had any contact with your ward.
And does anyone from outside the sanatorium take an interest, or have they taken an interest in the mystics that you, or the people with this affliction that you help in your groups?
You will be aware that some people very unfairly fear the mystics and seek to do them damage. So obviously we don't entertain any inquiries from people of that sort here. No, we try and make this a comfortable and open environment for talking about what's going on in their lives how it's affecting them, and trying to build coping mechanisms for whatever it is. The symptoms of this disease seem so varied.
Did you know, if I may ask, Aram Yaffa?
No.
Do I
He
think
racks his brains for that while I read the text about him.
and do I think he's telling the truth about that?
Do you want to make an observation roll?
Yeah, why not? No successes. Probably won't bother
Yeah,
pushing
you
that
think
one.
he's telling the truth, I think.
So how the patients that you treat for this disease, how do you come to know about them? How do they find their way here normally?
Well, we put leaflets, and he digs about in his chemise and pulls out one that you've now seen.
Oh yes, no, you
before.
mentioned it. I have seen this.
I mean, take a few, put them in places that you frequent. It would be it's very hard to get this message out, as I say, with the feeling of anger that some people have towards them. Nor he looks at Sister Robwah and leans in close and conspiratorially. Nor I'm worried about, because she was becoming increasingly convinced that she had been chosen by the icons, by the martyr, to perform great deeds. Now this, blessed are the icons, blessed is the martyr, the pariah. Maybe he has chosen these for something, but also maybe it's a sign of, shall we say, an illusion of self-importance. I don't know, but I'm concerned that she has gone missing.
And how do you judge the success of your treatments of these individuals? What's your objective? Presumably you can't cure the affliction, but what is your objective with your groups?
As yet, no cure is no. So all we do is try and help these people live a life and manage whatever their symptoms are.
Well, Brother Ramas, I don't think I have anything else to ask at this point. I'm going to give him a card.
He gives you a card. Can I get you to make an infiltration roll?
Infiltration, I can try. I get no successes.
He takes the card, but rather confusingly grasps your hand between both of his to give you a blessing, but also you can feel something in the palm of his hand that he is passing to you. And you get the impression he's doing it without Sister Robwah seeing.
Okay, well, whatever it is, I'm going to keep it hidden in my hand.
Okay.
And thank Brother Ramas, and say if you do hear from Nur, or if anything else occurs to you that may give us a clue as to where she may be now, if you could get in touch, I'll be most grateful.
I hope sincerely that we speak again with happier news.
Indeed, so do I. Thank you very much for your time. I'll turn to Sister Robwah and also thank her for her help in this matter.
She gives you a nod. A gracious nod.
And then I shall turn and leave.
and she watches you as you leave the sanatorium into the courtyard and then out into the wider thing, scratching her neck.
Scratching her neck.
Yeah. Right, where do you and Oshain meet?
Well, I guess I was going to head straight back to the sanatorium after I finished.
Okay. So on your way into the sanatorium, you meet Tony coming, Yaquob coming out.
Yep, I'll say. Okay.
I'll assume
Stick
that
with me. I think we're still being watched, so let's leave the sanatorium for now.
Okay.
Once we're certain that.
Yeah. Okay. Presumably. Yeah. All right. Fine. Okay. On.
So once we're certain we're kind of fully out of sight of the sanatorium, and any observation from there, just have a look at what Brother Ramas.
If Yaquob gives me the kind of a nod that this is going on, I'll use my infiltration to see if we spot any surveillance on us.
Use your observation to spot
observation. Yeah, that's even better. To make sure that we're not being observed. Yeah.
What did you get?
I get 3 successes.
Yep, you're not being observed.
Okay, cool. Maybe with that, there's a Crossroads College that we can just step into nearby.
Well, round this neck of the woods, I think there probably aren't, because this is, these are all precincts that are run by thing. But you can get a little bit away from the academic area and into the more plebeian area, and you will find Crossroads colleges. But you're not that far really from your own.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they might not necessarily be that keen to see us, given what happened last time we went into a Crossroads college.
There is that as well. Yeah. So back to your place.
Wasn't our fault. Anyway, so I'm assuming
Tony, I was thinking, not Tony, Dave, I was thinking we ought to decide which one of the icons this particular Crossroads is dedicated to. But leave it for a moment. It's not an urgent thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, and Siri doesn't understand either.
That makes 4 of us. So I assume that Yaquob is going to fill me in on the conversation.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the whatever Brother Ramas put into my hand.
So my first
it's a small communicator.
So my first question is, so what did you find out about her mystic power then? What was it then?
He didn't ask about that. There's a paragraph about it here, but he didn't.
Second question. So when was the last time she was there, so we can then get access to the cameras outside and see where she went?
Was it just over a week ago?
Yeah.
It was a week ago. Okay, was it?
It was
a segment ago or whatever.
I think it was before she contacted me
so,
when then went missing.
All right, so I always got the wrong end of the stick. I thought he said he'd been there like a day ago.
No, there was a meeting a day ago. That they would have expected her to be there, but she wasn't.
So was she there 2 days ago?
No. She was there for a regular weekly thing.
Ah, right. Okay, these are weekly, not daily. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Okay, this communicator that you've got then. Do we want to check it to make sure it's not listening into what we're talking about?
I think we probably should. Yes.
Is that going to be data gin?
Meanwhile, the guys listening in go, quickly, turn off the listening. They're about to check it.
I might have said that in a way that it wouldn't have come up on the device.
Might have written it down.
Yeah. Use semaphore.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to check it and see if.
Can I give him an infiltration die because it's that kind of thing?
This is data gin.
Yeah, such a stingy bastard, Matt.
That's 2 successes.
He's a datakin. That's what he does. Doesn't
Yes.
need your help.
So, no, he doesn't need my help. No, that's true.
2 successes. It is, I'll tell you what it is. It's very simple. It's like a burner device. He has given it to you. He's put a number in, which you assume is his. Nothing else about it. No history. It's relatively newly bought from the markets on the Ozone Plaza.
Okay, so this guy has been anticipating needing something like this before we turned up. Otherwise, how did he have it? Or did he nip out to the shops quickly before, the meeting?
Presumably he was anticipating this because he suggested that when he gave it to me, he made sure that Sister Robwah didn't see that he'd done so.
Presumably, Sister Robwah and Brother Ramas, they all live on the Sanatorium? They have accommodation there, or do they live elsewhere?
I'd assume so.
Yeah, okay. So kidnapping Sister Robwah might not be so easy.
Possibly not, no.
No. So all of this kind of got us nowhere.
Well, we can give Brother Ramas a call with the drug dealer phone he's just left with us and see what he has to say when he's not being watched over by Sister Robwah.
Yeah. We need to effect another meeting.
Okay. Before you do that, though, Jailer Kuhari catches your eye.
In the Crossroads College?
Well, kind of in the Crossroads College, but not coming in through the door. She's on one of the screens.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm going to spend a darkness point for this.
Get rid of one of them, good.
How many have you got?
I now have 9.
9, okay.
Um,
What is she saying?
She is standing on the promenade outside Wahib's Cantina, which is obviously the most famous place in all of Coriolis because it's where every beginning adventurer goes.
every tourist goes there and there's always a shooting or there's something going on.
And actually you recognize the person who's standing next to her and the cameras as well, who is your old friend, Judicator Akuba Kosha, shifting somewhat or standing somewhat uncomfortably, shifting her weight from foot to foot. This isn't the sort of thing she likes doing. Again, all you can see of her is her eyes through her mask.
So 2 quick questions. How far is Wahib's from where we are? And is this a live broadcast?
This is a live broadcast. And now you ask me a question about Wahib's.
Just wondering if it's right round the corner.
Run around.
Something is going on. We might be able to get there quite quickly.
One of you look it up in the book, and I'll read out what's going on the television.
Okay.
I'll
have a look on the map.
And the announcer says, over to our correspondent, Jailer, who has more information about the shooting at Wahib's. Thank you, Jalab. That is correct. I have with me Judicator Kosha, who is in charge of the investigation. Now, my sources tell me that the victim of the shooting in the cantina here behind us is not the first so-called mystic that has been killed recently. Is that true, Judicator? That may be correct. Is it true that you have linked the events of today to 7 other murders? That is correct. Is it also probable that more bodies will surface during your investigation, as over a dozen new mystics have been reported missing? We can't speculate about the investigation at this time. Many of the new mystics chose to leave their old lives behind, which could be a factor contributing to the reported disappearances. What is your comment on the rumor that only first-come people have been affected by the mystic's disease? I cannot comment on that. Can't, won't, or aren't allowed to. Can't, as I don't know the answer. Going back to the 6 victims you've examined so far, what can you say about their backgrounds? That it would appear on the surface that your rumour might hold up so far, but that doesn't mean... Thank you, Judicator Kosher. Back to you, Jalab. Thank you, Jailer. With us for commentary here in the studio, and by which time you lost interest in the thing.
Is Noor first come or Zenithian? Are you, Tony, first come or Zenithian? You're Zenithian.
I'm Zenithian.
aren't you?
I'm very
Yeah.
much definitely Zenithian.
Yeah.
Born and bred on Kua.
That's all right then. What about Noor? Is she first come or Zenithian?
No, I think she's a Zenithian.
I can't
Unless the
remember.
GM
I'm
tells
just
me
gonna
differently.
quickly check whether I have any details about Noor's heritage.
Obviously, if someone else had just been shot and they were a mystic, we might want to make sure that was not Noor.
Yes.
And the other 6. So did we know about 6 murders? We know about 1.
Well, Jailer was saying that there are a lot of missing people.
Yeah, but we haven't heard. I didn't know there have been 6 murders.
No, maybe.
So I
she
guess
didn't get that far.
I guess we want to make sure that we know that none of those 6 is Noor for starters. Because actually, you know, are we hunting down the emissary? Are we hunting down Noor? What, you know, going to the Sanatorium?
Your job is to hunt down the emissary. You're getting paid for that.
Yeah.
But obviously, you have a moral
Obligation.
debt, shall we say, to
Find Noor.
to.
I think we suspect that maybe the same perpetrators behind both. There we so they're
And from what you've said
not
about,
necessarily in conflict.
so what you said about Sister Robwah implies that there's definitely something else going on. It might just be that she's a tyrannical boss, or it might be that she's involved in something that we ought to be talking to Brother Ramas about and trying to get her into a position where we can have a quiet conversation with her.
Yes, we should definitely talk to Brother Ramas anyway and see what he has to say.
Yeah. Anyway, Wahib's is on the ring between a couple of the plazas, so it's quite a long way away from where we are.
Right.
We wouldn't get there quickly. Yeah.
So, what do you want to do next? I'm looking for Noor's details, but tell me what you're trying to do.
I think you should
Sure,
call brother. What's his face?
Ramas.
Particularly on the, you know, with this new news as well. Also, ask him what her mystic power was.
Yeah, we can also, I guess.
Probably good to know.
I'm presuming we can talk to Akuba, the adjudicator, and find out who the 6 that have been murdered.
Yeah. So
who they are.
Why don't you call Brother Ramas?
Yeah.
I'll call Akuba and say, give us the details of the 6 murdered mystics. And the details of the actual murders. Because we can investigate each one of those potentially to lead us to the perpetrators, because we are assuming that the perpetrators are all part of the same outfit.
Yes.
Okay, just give me a moment. I'm struggling to find Noor's details. Yeah, let me just find my electronic version of this so I can search for Noor.
I think we have some idea of what Noor's power was, something about having visions, because I think we knew that from Althea and Aram.
Yeah, what happened to Althea? She was hiding in a Crossroads College, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. She wasn't hiding at Wahib's. Let's hope.
God.
Maybe, I mean, I'm not sure it matters so much right now, Matt. You could always find it out between games.
Okay. So cutting back to phoning your man,
Brother Ramas?
Ramas. He yeah, we're coming up to 10 to 10, so this might be a good place to move into the final act and then finish. At some point, actually, before you try and phone him, the communicator suddenly rings.
Okay, I shall answer it.
Okay.
I see.
And he says, I can't talk now. Meet me in the Garden of the Seekers during the evening watch.
And
And then
as
he rings off.
okay.
Okay.
Do I know what the Garden of Seekers is?
The Garden of Seekers is a tourist. Well, it's an attraction within the within Coriolis.
How far from the
Seekers-
sanatorium is it?
Sorry.
How far from the sanatorium is it?
No,
And in terms of time, how far ahead is that
on the
time?
map. Garden of Seekers.
Because I'm thinking,
Sanatorium is there, and the Garden of Seekers is there. So it's some way. So
is it all in the core?
it's all in the core, yeah. Your place is kind of directly the halfway between. It's not directly halfway between the two. It's 1/3 of a pretty equilateral triangle with
Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, yeah.
so it's quite a large garden.
Sanatorium is 14. Okay, so it's there.
Yeah, so the
we are there. Yes,
Sanatorium is northwest of you,
Yeah.
and the Garden of Seekers is kind of
directly
west southwest of
almost.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, space northwest and space west southwest.
Obviously.
Well, I'm thinking, Tone.
Yeah.
That I go. So, what was the time again? The evening watch.
How
Yeah.
far away is that from now?
So, what is the evening watch? Is that a period of time, or is that a set time?
That's a period of time.
Okay. So, so I can work out how long it would take to get from the sanatorium to the Garden of Seekers. What I'm thinking of doing is staking out the sanatorium for when this guy comes out and following him to give him some counter surveillance.
Yeah.
Basically, so if somebody else is following him or might try and assassinate him whilst he's coming to see us, I might see it first.
Okay. Shall we do that next week?
Okay, if you want.
Meanwhile,
Yes.
Tony, you go and wait for him
Yes.
as
We-
expected. At the
We stay in
Absolutely.
communicator contact whilst we're doing this. Basically, because I guess he's taking a huge risk in coming to talk to us.
Yeah.
Particularly if Sister what's her face Robwah is already, a bit concerned about letting him talk to us without her oversight. So if she is following him, I can then at least let you know that that's the case.
Yeah.
And then maybe,
Killer.
take her out for a nice
To Alcamars.
for a nice Italian meal, some tortellini and olives. Anyway, on that
Do you
note,
want to phone Akuba before we finish?
yeah, can we call Akuba and find out the identities of the 6 murdered mystics that have been reported in the press?
They don't include Noor, or at least nobody identified as Noor. They've happened over a period of time. You obviously haven't been watching the news.
They don't.
or
Do they
I've
include?
told you about mystics being murdered in the first episode.
Does that include Althea?
No,
No,
Althea
okay.
is still. Oh, that
Is
would have been
Aram,
good. Maybe I should have said that she was, but no.
is Aram Yaffa included as one of the
Yes.
6?
Right. Okay.
There are some other names which I will invent and give you, but none of them I think are central to the plot.
Okay. Cool. Until next week, then.
Joel, do you think you're getting somewhere?
Not really.
Still got
very slowly.
one lead.
Yeah, this is our
as
one
brother
and only lead.
Ramas
Well,
doesn't
if you
get.
think you're one and only lead, you've totally ignored the guys, the trail you had of people disappearing into the
Ventilation.
Well, I just kind of assumed it was so big and so complex there was no point investigating that further whatsoever.
We wouldn't be able to
You've got 4 successes or something.
Okay, well we'll bear that. Okay, it's only 5 to 10. So whilst we're waiting for evening, whatever.
No. That would be a big operation. But if this one doesn't come out with anything, you might want to consider that.
To go over that cold lead. Okay.
It is pretty cold now. And I think it probably leads to the sanatorium, but who can say?
All roads lead to the sanatorium.
Okay, so we will first of all say goodbye to any viewers who have been watching this.
Yes.
I think our patron Millie has been watching.
Good. I hope you enjoyed it.
So hope you enjoyed it, Millie, and we will stop the stream